Let's be honest with each other for a second. Just you and me. No cameras, no filters, no performance. Just the raw, uncomfortable truth that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. You are not where you're supposed to be, are you? You can feel it. It's a quiet, gnawing ache in your chest, a heaviness that doesn't go away even when you're laughing with friends or distracting yourself with your phone. It's the feeling that you are drifting, that the best version of you is slowly fading away, leaving behind a ghost that just goes through the motions. You look at the calendar and you realize how fast the years are slipping through your fingers. 2023 gone, 24 gone, and now you're staring down the barrel of another year, terrified that 2026 is going to look exactly the same as the last 5 years. That is the nightmare, isn't it? The nightmare isn't failure. The nightmare is standing in the exact same spot with the exact same bank account, the exact same body, the exact same toxic relationships, and the exact same excuses 1 year from today. I need you to really hear me right now because I am not here to motivate you. Motivation is a cheap drug. It's a sugar rush that wears off the moment life punches you in the mouth. I am here to wake you up. I am here to tell you that the house you are living in, the identity you have built, the habits you cling to, the stories you tell yourself is on fire. And you have two choices. You can stay inside and burn with the wreckage of your past potential, or you can walk out the front door, let it burn to the ground, and build something new, something indestructible. But to do that, to truly rebuild yourself in 2026, you have to be willing to do the one thing that terrifies human beings more than anything else. You have to be willing to die, not physically but psychologically. The old you has to die, the version of you that negotiates with mediocrity, the version of you that seeks comfort over purpose, the version of you that is addicted to validation from people who don't even care about you. That version must be laid to rest. You cannot drag that corpse into your future and expect to fly. Rebuilding yourself isn't a renovation project. It's not a fresh coat of paint. It is a demolition. And demolition is violent. It is loud. It is messy. It hurts. You have to look in the mirror and admit that the architect of your current misery is you. That is the brutal pill to swallow. It wasn't your boss. It wasn't your ex. It wasn't the economy. And it wasn't bad luck. It was you. And it was your inability to control your mind. It was your refusal to sit in the discomfort of growth. It was the thousands of tiny silent agreements you made with yourself to quit when no one was watching. We love to blame the world, don't we? It feels safe to be the victim. But victims don't build empires, and they certainly don't rebuild lives. The moment you take radical, terrifying responsibility for everything that is wrong in your life is the exact moment you gain the power to fix it. Think about the last time you promised yourself you would change. Maybe it was New Year's Eve. Maybe it was after a bad breakup. Maybe it was when you saw a photo of yourself and didn't recognize the person staring back. You had the spark. You had the plan. You said, this time is different. But then life happened. A bad day at work, a moment of weakness, a distraction, and slowly, silently, you slip back into the warm, numbing bath of your old habits. Why does that happen? Science tells us it's because your brain is a survival machine, not a success machine. Your brain craves familiarity, even if that familiarity is toxic. It would rather you be depressed and predictable than happy and uncertain. So when you try to rebuild, when you try to step into the unknown, your own mind declares war on you. It floods you with doubt. It whispers, "Who do you think you are?" It reminds you of every failure you've ever had. This is why most people never change. They wait for the fear to go away. They wait to feel like it. But I'm telling you right now, if you are waiting for the perfect time, if you are waiting for motivation to strike you like lightning, you are going to die waiting. You have to act before you feel. You have to move while you are terrified. You have to build while your hands are shaking. This is the concept of behavioral activation. You don't think your way into a new way of acting. You act your way into a new way of thinking. You have to hijack your own system. So how do we do it? How do we actually rebuild a human being from the ashes? It starts with the dark room. It starts with solitude. We live in a world that is terrified of silence. We plug our ears with podcasts, music, news, gossip, anything to drown out the voice in our heads. But that voice, that quiet whisper you've been running from, that is where your truth lives. You need to disappear for a while. I'm talking about a season of isolation. The Stoics knew this. The monks knew this. The greatest leaders in history knew this. You cannot find yourself in the noise of the world. You have to pull back. You have to cut the cord. Imagine giving yourself 6 months. Just 6 months, not a lifetime. 6 months of absolute ferocious focus. 6 months where you go ghost. You stop announcing your moves on social media. You stop going to the parties where you talk about dreams you never execute. You stop seeking approval from people who are just as lost as you are. You go into the dark. And in that dark, you face the demons. You look at your trauma, not with self-pity, but with the eyes of a scientist. You ask, why do I do this? Why do I sabotage my happiness? Why do I run from intimacy? Why do I eat when I'm sad? Why do I scroll when I'm anxious? You dissect the old you until you understand the mechanics of your own failure. This is what Jack Ma meant when he talked about the construction site of your life. It looks ugly at first. It's just mud and holes and broken pieces. But you don't judge a building by its foundation work. You are laying the groundwork for a skyscraper. And that requires digging deep. It requires clearing the debris. And yes, it is lonely. It is profoundly lonely. When you start this journey, people will leave you. They will call you obsessive. They will say you've changed. They will say you're acting different. Good. You are supposed to be different. If you are still the same person you were in high school, if you are still the same person you were last year, you are failing the test of life. Growth demands that you outgrow people. It demands that you shed relationships that were based on your old weaknesses, not your new strengths. Let's talk about the bricks. Napoleon Hill spoke about this. The idea that you don't build a wall, you lay a brick. You don't build a new life overnight. That's too big, that's overwhelming. Your brain will shut down if you look at the mountain. You need to look at the step. You need to look at the next hour. 1 hour a day. That is the currency of transformation. If you can reclaim just 1 hour a day, the first hour of the morning, you win the war. The architecture of the morning is the architecture of your life. If you lose the morning, you lose the day. If you wake up and the first thing you do is grab your phone and scroll, you have just admitted defeat. You have just allowed the world with all its chaos and fear and demands to enter your sanctuary before you have even put on your armor. You are reacting, not creating. To rebuild yourself, you must become the master of your morning. You wake up, you move your body, you feed your mind, you sit in silence, you set the intention, you tell your brain what is important before the world tells you what is urgent. And let's go deeper into this, because this isn't just about a routine. It's about self-concept clarity. It's about rewriting the narrative of who you are. We all have a story we tell ourselves. I'm not good at math. I'm always late. I'm unlucky in love. I come from a poor family. These are not facts. These are scripts. And you are the screenwriter. You have been acting out a tragedy written by a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. It's time to fire the writer. It's time to pick up the pen and write a new character. When you start to rebuild, you are essentially engaging in post-traumatic growth. We know what PTSD is, stress and breakdown after trauma. But there is the other side of the coin. There is the growth that comes because of the trauma, the strength that is forged in the fire, the broken bone that heals stronger than it was before. Your failures, your divorce, your bankruptcy, your depression, these are not tombstones. They are stepping stones. They are the raw material for your reconstruction. You have to stop looking at your scars as signs of damage and start seeing them as proof of survival. You are still here, you are still breathing. That means you are not done. But you have to be relentless. You have to develop what David Goggins calls the accountability mirror. You have to look yourself in the eye and stop lying. If you are lazy, admit you are lazy. If you are afraid, admit you are afraid. The truth is the only solid ground you can build on. You can't build on delusions. You can't build on fake it till you make it. You have to build on face it till you make it. This journey is going to require you to embrace the concept of the void. The void is that space between who you were and who you are becoming. It's a scary place. It feels empty. It feels like you've lost your identity. You haven't. You were just in transition. It's like a trapeze artist. You have let go of the old bar, but you haven't caught the new one yet. You are floating in midair. Most people panic here. They look down, they get scared, they try to scramble back to the old bar, back to the ex-boyfriend, back to the safe job, back to the bad habits. Don't do it. Stay in the air. Trust the momentum. Trust that your hands will find the new grip. If you just keep reaching forward, you need to understand the power of non-negotiable standards. Rebuilding isn't about goals. Goals are for people who want to hit a target and then relax. Standards are for people who want to change who they are. You don't just want to lose 10 pounds. You want to be the standard of a healthy person. You don't just want to make more money. You want to be the standard of value and discipline. When you set a standard, it's not something you try to do. It's simply who you are. You don't try not to steal. You just aren't a thief. You need to reach a point where missing a workout or breaking your word or wasting your day feels as foreign to you as stealing a car. That is when the shift happens. That is when the rebuild becomes permanent. And listen, you have to stop waiting for permission. No one is going to come and tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, you're ready now. Go be great. No one cares. The world is busy. The world is indifferent. If you want a new life, you have to take it. You have to snatch it from the jaws of your own resistance. You have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to be the villain in someone else's story so you can be the hero in your own.